What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the podcast. Hope you're all doing well. I am your host, Justin Harold, and with me, as always, my co-host, Jeff Santa. This is episode 32 of the Cleveland Pulse podcast, and today we're talking about the primetime loss on Monday night for the Cleveland Browns against the Baltimore Ravens, 42-47. And Jeff, I would usually, at this moment, refer to you and asking, "How are you doing, my guy?" But today, I gotta get it off my chest right away. Last night I was at the game. The game clock hits 0. Disappointed. It's 42-47. Disappointed. Leaving. Disappointed. Go to bed. Disappointed. And I wasn't angry. I was not angry at the way the game went for the majority until I woke up this morning, and I was pissed. I was royally upset. Royally fucking upset. Won't lie to you. What our defense did last night was cut and dry the worst fucking thing I've ever seen a football team do in terms of just shitting on the offense.
Ever?
Shitting on the offense. Just absoluted. Our offense couldn't do anything because it didn't matter. It didn't matter if we put up 50 points because Baltimore would have got the ball back and ran down our throats in a minute, 30 seconds, and kicked a field goal or who knows what, score a touchdown. I can't wait. I can't wait till next year, just in the sense that I can't wait to replace probably 8 of the 11 starters that we may have on the defense because everyone deserves to get the boot right now. But that's what I'm feeling right now. I was upset. This is the first time I'm like very upset. That's a game we should have won. That's a game that if we have a kicker that can hit a field goal and an extra point, we don't have to worry about going for it on 2. We don't have to worry about a team going and scoring in less than 30 seconds. It's just, I'm glad that our offense is phenomenal because our defense can't do anything. I'm glad we're going to get into the playoffs and lose our first playoff game because our defense sucks. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling. How are you doing, Jeff?
I'm focused. I'm focused on being the most optimistic Cleveland Browns fan in Northeast Ohio.
No sarcasm. Roles have switched. How the roles have
Great
switched.
Character development.
This is just like a movie.
All right. Well, I mean, okay. So you run off. Should I go off?
You go for it. Go for it.
All right. So I'm gonna give you a record breakdown. I'm gonna start with the facts, and then I'm gonna preach because we have the room to preach. When you go 1-31, you got to talk to God a little bit. You gotta have the room to preach. So we've been through that. So our record breakdown: 3-0 versus 9-4. 3-0 versus the NFC East.
Okay.
4-0 versus the AFC South. Clean sweep down there. Lost to the Raiders, and then we're 2-3 in the AFC North. 2 wins against the Bengals. Now to the loyal listeners out there, shout out John, Mike, Joe, Mr. Harold, Mr. Uncle Harold. Everybody involved might be asking, why, Jeff? Why are you bringing this up? I'm bringing this up to make a point.
Oh, he's ripping it up.
That's my point right there. Now, the Monday Night Football graphic. This is what I love. This is what I love in the world of hares. I'm going to say this a couple of times. In the world of hares, HARES, you want to be a tortoise. Slow and steady wins the race. People asking, oh, why is a tortoise so slow? We got 2 of the youngest tortoises, tortoise, whatever it is, in the league. Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry. Both slow and steady wins the race. And the tortoise has been lagging behind because of people like Hugh Jackson and Freddie Kitchens. So we're going to get that out of the mix. So this is an interesting game. I'm at home and you're there. So I see all the graphics. I'm texting you. It was our most cordial game that we've, watched together, but separately. They flash the graphic. ESPN does one thing right, flash the graphic. Our oldest starter on offense is 30 years old. Jack Conklin is our oldest starter at 30. Everyone else is younger.
Wow. Even J.C. Treader.
Everyone else is younger.
Wow.
So after that game last night, I want John Harbaugh. I want him to get on a group FaceTime with Lamar and Justin Tucker, and I want him to call Jim Harbaugh. And I want to say, Jim, I would be you if I didn't have these 2 guys. And I'm nervous. That's what I want Harbaugh to say. I'm nervous about the Cleveland Browns. I want Mike Tomlin to wake up in the middle of the night having a nightmare, and I want him to call Big Ben and beg and plead that Big Ben plays another decade for Pittsburgh.
Then he wakes up, Jeff. Then he
wakes
wakes
up because Pittsburgh, I know they're nervous. I know they're nervous after watching that last game. And I want Andy Reid, the next time that he bites into a cheeseburger, I want him to savor it, because the quarter pounder with cheese isn't going to taste very good when we blow the brakes off of them next year in the AFC Championship, punching our ticket to the Super Bowl next year.
Oh my goodness. What happened overnight to us? Did we swap bodies? Are we Freaky Friday right now?
I don't know, but I'm fired up.
Listen. All right. Great note. I have to continue on my tangent of being upset a little bit. Mainly, it's not even being upset. I had to go through Twitter today, and I follow one sportscast in all of, First Take and all these other things. And you know who I had to listen to this morning? I listened to Nick Wright and Brandon Marshall. And I listened to Nick Wright. Nick Wright's usually pretty good. He's the only guy that I kind of respect within the industry in terms of he brings up a lot of facts, and he doesn't shy away. Like, if he's wrong, he'll admit he's wrong. But Brandon Marshall getting to be an analyst somehow, because he played football, so yeah, he's got credibility in talking football, I guess. Legit is just, people are out. Like, it's evident that people were out last year to go and get Baker and go after Baker for everything that he was doing. Brandon Marshall is one of those people. He's like a bad girlfriend. Like, he just can't drop the fact that Baker Mayfield had one wrong season, and now everything that Baker does, if it's not him ending up with a W, 300 plus yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, then it's the game's on him apparently. Brandon Marshall trying to make the point of Baker Mayfield lost us that game because of one interception. I don't think people realize that Baker Mayfield was probably the reason we got into the majority of the touchdowns that we scored areas. The majority of them, without the second half. Even in the first half, he didn't score any, but he got us into the field range of scoring touchdowns and such, and letting Nick Chubb run in them and Kareem Hunt. If I have to listen to another one of Brandon Marshall's rants like that again, I'm going to go off. I'm going to flip out.
You gotta stay off Twitter.
I'm flipping off already. Yeah, but I can't, no one's going to stay off of Twitter. It's just ridiculous.
After we lose that game, that's a game of the year, though. That's a game of the year. You got to stay off Twitter. You got to.
And now I will flip it. That was easily the greatest game I have ever watched in the entirety of my life as a Browns fan. Easily. Yeah. It's a loss, but it's still possibly one of the greatest. 12,000 fans. Baker Mayfield has to shush 12,000 fans. Are you kidding me? In a game where there's only 12,000 fans, and it's game of the year. It's game of the year. It's like I'm over here talking about video games, and I'm watching a real life game, and it's game of the year.
Now, okay, I have an interesting thing, because there's a difference between criticizing and having critical analysis. I think that we try to do the analysis part more. We don't, we usually try not to criticize and just throw it out there. I mean, because people do that. Colin Cowherd just throws out bad takes, literally just so people put it on Twitter, just so they just tweet it out, small clip on Twitter. We try not to do that. I guess that's kind of how you make your business now in the sports industry, because the color commentary outside of the game of the news and surrounding, it's so boring. But I was thinking about this all day, and I didn't want to give you a head start, but off the top of your head, think of a statement from last night. So I'll start and I'll give the example.
Okay.
And you're going to say agree or disagree, and then a quick couple sentences on what's your standpoint. All right.
Okay.
All right. Here's mine to you. Last night, Kevin Stefanski needs to do a better job of managing the end of both halves of that game.
I disagree, mainly because I thought he did well at the end of the second half. Unfortunately, and like most people in hindsight, I'm sure all of us want Kareem Hunt to be down on the 1 yard line right before he scores the final touchdown. But I'm absolutely on your side with the first half. Yes,
the first half was bad. I thought the first half was bad. You're right.
I don't think that it was bad offensively. I just think it was bad that the defense couldn't do anything to stop Lamar. It just seemed like after the first quarter, every time they even got close to Lamar, he would just get out of it.
Yeah, but we got the ball back with 2 minutes. We got it 1:58 after the punt. And
Yeah.
we knew like it was obviously they were getting the ball in the second half, and we
Mhm.
tried to be cute and push the envelope, and we only took up about, after they called their timeouts, we only took up, I don't even
Yeah.
know how much, but I mean, it gave him enough time to come back and score a touchdown. So
Right.
that's what I was upset about. You can't ask Kareem Hunt to go down there, because if he goes down and then you burn their timeout and burn the clock and we don't score, we look dumb. So
Yeah, I
I
agree.
mean, it was just unlucky there was a minute left and they have Justin Tucker. Not mad about that. How about the preview? How about me in the preview? I re-listened to the preview today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a stud. Baker rushing touchdown, Justin Tucker game-winning field goal. Come on, man.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. All right, next hot take or stance.
Go ahead, hot take, whenever, whatever. If you got something, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
First thing that comes to my mind, was something that something that came to my mind after that rushing touchdown. I put into our text message. I never sent it. Baker better than Lamar. Greater than Lamar.
Disagree.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He don't have a. He does. Lamar's.
Let me ask you. Let me put it this way. Then.
Okay.
Baker was the better quarterback last night.
Disagree.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the one turnover?
No, it's not even the turnover. It's that besides the NFL being rigged, which I'm going to completely disregard that and never speak on that again. But you heard my standpoint. NFL's rigged. I'm done talking about it though. Lamar, they need Lamar to win. They need Lamar to win that game. And I'm not, I could say that and not believe in, Case Keenum could do the same thing. I could have two different standpoints, but if you saw the couple of drives they had McSorley in, it was completely different, which I do respect them for having that setup. They have RG3 as their secondary, their second string, and then they have McSorley as their third. So at least if Lamar goes out, they have the same shell of a system, because quarterbacks like that get hurt all the time. So you have to respect them for that. And Trace McSorley was serviceable kind of when they needed him to be, but Lamar was torching us all night long. Lamar's the reason they won that game. And while Baker probably could have been the reason if we won, we would have won the game, but it's also a large game from Nick Chubb.
Yeah, my only thing with the McSorley thing, and maybe just in general with the Ravens, we had a couple drops in like the first quarter, but their team was dropping balls kind of often. I mean, Lamar, I after watching that game, I'm now certain that Baker is the better quarterback. Lamar might be the better player just because of
it's a glorified. I mean, when it's last night, it was a glorified Wildcat as far as what I was watching on TV. They don't even, what did it? He had like 7 or 8 completions. He's not even really a quarterback. So
11
I guess
to 17, 163.
Baker might be the better quarterback. Lamar's definitely the better player.
Yeah, right now maybe, but I mean, my thing with that point is Baker played against a top 10 defense. Lamar played against a bottom 5 defense.
That's true. But Baker's got a lot more weapons though.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think
the second guy on Baltimore is J.K. Dobbins, basically.
Running wise. Yeah. Just
in general, I mean, but them not throwing the ball pretty much takes away Hollywood Brown too. But I mean,
Andrews is good. Andrews is too.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying. But okay, all right. You got another one?
Yes, and this is last night and moving forward, especially against good defenses. I hopefully know your answer, but I'm just going to ask to confirm.
Okay.
And this is not because I'm asking back-to-back questions about Stefanski, and this is not a hate on Stefanski. I already prefaced that about Stefanski and Barry, how Stefanski's the guy of the future. That's for certain. If Barry could not do anything stupid, he could be the guy of the future. I don't know how you really evaluate a GM in 1 year.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Kevin Stefanski against better defenses needs to incorporate Kareem Hunt more in the passing game.
Yes. I won't. I mean, to be fair, he did though last night. Kareem led.
He did, but it took him like 3 quarters. It took him the whole first half to figure it out because Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters were destroying us in the first half.
Yeah, and I really did like when they started to flex out the running back all the way because for some reason, one of those two would take Kareem for some reason and not switch off to a wide receiver. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just interesting because, I think Kareem gets a good amount. I think yesterday was probably his best game in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they're just, I don't know. The past 2 games, they've kind of played it a lot differently than we've seen throughout the whole season. So I just think it's just, two very good teams. They had 2 game plans to score an absurd amount of points, and they did. So I'm not really gonna, and you're not, but I'm not really gonna question what Stefanski's been doing, because offensively, I have no problems with what we're doing. So
Right. But there was points in the first, and we did. We scored 42 points. You should win the game when you score 42 points.
mm-hmm.
But we didn't really. There was some points of that game where we weren't controlling the time of possession very well. We were giving them the football. Our defense is bad, but our offense was scoring at a rate where our defense was on the field probably more than we really would have liked. But it took the second quarter specifically. There were a couple throws in man. The Ravens were playing man, and it looked like we were totally confused on the offensive side of the ball. Yes, we scored 42 points, but the total yards from both of our backs last night, receiving and rushing, needs to be more of a staple, because Chubb had a couple of catches and Kareem had that really long pass play that was really big momentum swing, and he's good with handling the football. I mean, we know. I mean, even Chubb shows that he's a pretty good receiving back, which we didn't really know.
Yeah. I thought just in general, the offense after the first quarter was really good. I think I thought our wide receivers were dropping balls and also fumbling, which was really weird. But after that, I think everyone was just so on point offensively that there's nothing really to say. Baker was making throws. He was, he was getting Baker. The one thing that I want to say about Baker right now is he's I've been a fanboy of him, but I think he's proved in the last 2 games that he has such a presence about him that he gives off franchise quarterback vibes. And the reason I say that is because there have been times in the past couple of weeks where he's getting so good with the cadence that he gets dudes to jump, and he'll take the 5 and try to take a shot with it, like Aaron Rodgers. He reminds me so much of Aaron Rodgers in that way. I don't know any other quarterback who has a cadence so strong where they hike it he huts and someone jumps and hikes it, and just maybe he takes a chance, maybe he doesn't, but he's always looking for the deep ball in that sense. And then with the 12 men on the field, I thought there were 13 or 14 people on the field when
15.
Yeah, there was an absurd amount of people on the field when he made that too. And he was the one who wanted to go for 2, or no, sorry, there was one point where I don't know if it was at the beginning of the third quarter, when we were down the 2 to 3 touchdowns, but third down, I think he misses on a throw or something, and he's like, I want to keep, or no, he runs, and Donovan Peoples-Jones doesn't block, so he has to run out of bounds, and so he comes right off the from going out of bounds and goes let's go, we're going for it on 4th down, which I don't know, man, he just speaks volumes to me. I love it, but I just I don't even I can't praise the offense without just thinking about the defense and what are we gonna do? We these next 3 games, all right, the Giants, I'm not worried about the Giants because I watched Daniel Jones do absolutely nothing. Put Colt McCoy back in that offense because apparently they're better with Colt McCoy. I'm not worried about the Giants. I'm not worried about the Jets. But you got to go and play Pittsburgh, and it's going to be another one of these Baltimore Browns games. It could be it's probably going to be an instant classic because it's going to be, first of all, if we're competing for a playoff spot and they're competing for, I don't know, the first seed or whatever, a bye, whatever it may be. We're both going to play all of our players, and it's going to be one of those games that, probably goes down to the wire and it's high scoring again. And it's probably going to get flexed out of that 1 p.m. position. So, but I can't say that we're going to win that game because I just don't know that our defense can do anything with a old griddled Ben Roethlisberger throwing the ball.
Yeah, the Giants, we'll get to them, but I don't know, man. Daniel Jones, I think he's a little bit hurt. He's not 100%, but Daniel Jones has a somewhat underrated amount of rushing yards this season, which makes me nervous right off the rip because Lamar just showed really how bad we were last night. Yes, he's the reigning MVP. I don't know how you stop him. The Pittsburgh Steelers do, but I don't know how a team with our personnel is stopping him ever. If we don't have a turnover, especially, and that's really the problem because We don't generate a turnover. Like I said, we get 3 or 4 in a game and then we don't have any.
Yeah.
And it screwed us over. And Baker does such a good job. He did such a good job hurrying up. The hurry up offense was nice last night. He does a good job identifying that if he snaps the ball, it's going to be too many men on the field for Baltimore. But the interception, well, I 1,000% agree. That's not the make or break play of the game. I don't have a make or break play for this game just because the defense was so bad. I'm honestly, believe it or not, I'm okay with Cody Parkey. Kickers are going to miss. You shouldn't miss extra points, but they're going to miss field goals. He's been actually pretty good for us, but if he keeps that up, it's going to go south real quick. But I mean, we had a chance to win that game, and the Baker interception, that's just a bad throw, though. His interceptions are so bad. He literally is looking. That was an
extreme play by Bowser.
It was an extreme play, but he saw him going out there. It's not like he threw his hand up and he like made like a big jumping play. He literally put his arm out and it hit his arm, rolled up and he caught it. It could have easily been, an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's throwing essentially into double coverage and it's always on our side of the field. That was probably my biggest beef with Stefanski last night. And I'm not going to harp on the guy because this is the best our offense has been in 3 decades. But the not running on first down when we had bad field position was irking me all night long because that interception.
That was the case that I wanted to run the ball on first down because I've gotten like into the whole let Baker throw on first down a lot of times, but when we were there, we were within like the 11 or something,
right?
I was just completely thinking maybe Nick Chubb rips off like a 70-yarder or whatever. But
that's a product of our defense being bad because Stefanski in the back of his mind or Baker, them talking is probably saying we got to score on every drive. So we don't really have the luxury to play conservative at our 11-yard line, run and then go for like a safe pass and punt. We don't have that luxury because our defense is going to give up points. So at the same time, the defense is to blame. If you can't get a turnover, MJ Stewart, cut him. I'd cut him right now.
We're playing with bums. We're playing with absolute bums. So
Joe Woods has nobody.
So and I actually do feel bad for Joe Woods because I think he coaches a very good game, and I think the players are just not there. I think Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, and Sheldon Richardson are when our whole team is healthy, not including Grant Delpit because we haven't seen him play. Those are probably our top 3 players with Richardson and probably Harrison being interchangeable between that 3 spot, but everyone else, and I hate to say it, like guys like Mac Wilson, I don't know if it's, and this is something I don't understand. Bad. It's either he is fallen off because of his injury, or there's something within the game plan with these rotations because every time after first down, he's off the field. And I don't understand it. How is the guy that I thought was going to be probably a very, very good core player for our defense coming off the field after first downs? How is he getting replaced by some 30-plus-year-old in pass coverage? Why? Why is that happening? Why is Malcolm Smith out there in pass coverage? Everyone on the defense besides Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward are replaceable in my mind. I like Larry Ogunjobi. I don't think he's done anything spectacular this year. I think his first couple games he was really good. Sheldon Richardson has been very consistent and very good. I would like to keep him, but everyone else, I don't know. Greedy's going to be on the team because he's there, but apparently the nerve damage is really bad. So I don't know if he'll ever play football again. Grant Delpit, he's going to be on the team next year, but I don't know if he can stay healthy. Ronnie Harrison, he's going to be on the team next year, but again, don't know if he can stay healthy. You have to replace the entire linebacking core, except for, and this is going to come off as a shocker. Keep Talkie there for the fact of just putting him in the run defense. Because that's what he's good for. I
think BJ Goodson is serviceable. He's not great.
Gone. He's
not cream of the. He's probably the best player. I thought Kevin Johnson was the best guy in the 1-year contract. I think BJ Goodson probably has stolen the role. And I know Myles Garrett missed 2 games, but Olivier Vernon is almost going to catch him in sacks. He has 7 sacks. Myles has 9.5.
Yeah,
I mean, Miles did miss 2 games, but I mean,
coming off
he's been
of
trying the
COVID.
past couple weeks. Like, I don't know. Do we have to pay him? Is Vernon up this year?
Yeah, Vernon is off.
Because we restructured? Yeah, he's trying his ass off because he wants money.
Yeah, and that's a very astute point, a very observant point. But I just, I'm not going to be surprised when we spend an absurd amount of money on defense and free agency, and then also spend the first 5 rounds of picks on defense. Because Lord knows our offense is perfectly fine. There's not like a single hole. You might draft guys in the later rounds to end up replacing guys on the offensive line, but the defense is just holding us back. Like, you're Browns fans watching for the next 3 games. They're going to know that the defense is always, they're always going to hold their breath, is what I'm essentially trying to say. They're going to hold their breath because no matter how big of a lead we get out to, you watch the Tennessee game, you watch the Dallas game, we could be up by 2-3 touchdowns. It does not matter. Our defense will let teams back into the game and somehow make them into nail biters. So that's that. But honestly, did you see the video of Baker and Lamar after the game and Stefanski and Harbaugh after the game?
No.
It's a good video. It's, both, they're just congratulating each other and all that, but kind of like a wholesome, weirdly wholesome video. And then the video, the one thing that I saw was like Lamar Jackson, like out with cramps or something, questionable. Someone like changed it and just took out the M. It's like out with craps. Because the whole joke is that he was going and shitting and everything. But
dude, I don't know what that whole situation was about.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but all in all, phenomenal game. Those are the ones that, in the past, it probably would have been like 17-47, and we would have just been miserable. But like you said at the top of the show, I mean, slow and steady. We're going to get there eventually. We can't all have it at once, but as much as Browns fans would love to, because that's kind of how we're built. But yeah, that's kind of all I had. I vented it all out, and I think we've made our point. So just Jeff, unless you got anything else you want to say.
I'm old enough to remember, because it was week 1 of the year and I was alive week 1 of the year, that this team blew the brakes off of us week 1.
Yeah.
With no preseason, with no in-person meetings, with nothing. So, I mean, if that's what they have to do, if Lamar has to play his best game of the year and yes, put up 47 points against our defense to beat us, I'm okay with that. I told you in the preview, I said, if we score 30 and lose, I'm fine, because I think the defense could come around eventually. No. Plus, but I know it's hurt. Like, I know it's injured. So I think
maybe Denzel Ward would probably have saved 10
huge
points.
Difference. Yeah, huge difference. But I mean, when our fully healthy offense goes out there and lays an egg against a good defense, that makes me more nervous about the defense, or compared to the defense, solely because I just don't think that there's a lot of great defenses even left in the league.
No.
Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and like
Chicago,
maybe the Bears. And the rest of the staple of the league is just score a lot of points and just have guys on your defense that could just get
step
stops.
up.
And we couldn't get stops last night. And the last thing that, I mean, this is a talk we're going to have in a later episode, but we have the most cap space in the league remaining. All of our draft picks are going to be defenders. And this is where I mentioned Andrew Berry a little bit earlier. He doesn't do something stupid, but this is where Andrew Berry really has to come down and look. Can we get a second, third rounder for OBJ? Does anybody want OBJ and Njoku package? Does anybody want one of our tight ends? We don't need 3 tight ends.
I think Njoku's gone after this season.
I think Njoku's gone. I would like to see Hooper gone, but nobody wants his contract. And I know our whole mantra is don't switch up, because that's what the Browns always do, switch up on players too fast. But I mean, I've been saying all year, I wish we just would have paid Kirksey or Schobert, because Mac Wilson was probably disguised behind them all last year. I digress. Great game. Good game. We're going to talk about it in the preview, but the playoff picture is heating up.
It's getting tight.
Really weird.
It's getting real tight. So, but yeah, great one today, Jeff. We didn't talk about anything coming into this, so I was really happy that we didn't exchange a text after the game clock hit 0. So I knew there was going to be stuff for us. There was going to be things to be said, and it was going to be an interesting one. So, but thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. As always, if you guys could please share, like, comment, and subscribe. Leave us some comments. Tell us what you guys were thinking, what your emotions were for this game, what your thoughts are moving forward, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.